Hi, students. Have you ever looked around a busy city and noticed all the different things happening at the same time? You might see people walking down the street, cars moving through traffic, buildings, stores, restaurants, and bright lights. Artists have been interested in showing city life for a very long time. Today, we are going to look at city scenes and learn about two American artists, Edward Hopper and Stuart Davis. These two artists both painted scenes of New York City, but they had very different styles. As we go through the lesson, pay close attention to the differences between their artwork. Here is our week at a glance. Don't forget that you have got a quiz on Thursday, just as you do every Thursday. So let's begin with Edward Hopper. Hopper painted views of New York City and is associated with American scene painting and realism. Realistic looking artwork tries to make people, places, and objects look recognizable and believable. There are several important characteristics to remember when looking at Hopper's artwork. Hopper used strong lines, his artwork looks realistic, and he often used asymmetrical balance. So that means the two sides of a composition or an artwork are not exactly the same, but can feel balanced. Another important characteristic is contrast through value. One of Edward Hopper's most famous paintings is called Nighthawks. That's this painting that I'm showing you right now. Look closely at this painting. You may need to make it bigger on your screen. We see a restaurant at night with a few people sitting inside. The bright restaurant is surrounded by the darkness of the city. This creates strong contrast between light and dark areas. Hopper once explained that when he painted Nighthawks, he was probably painting the loneliness of a large city. Think about that idea. Even though there are people together in the restaurant, they don't appear to be talking to each other. Because Nighthawks is such a recognizable painting, many people have created parodies of it. A parody is an artwork that copies or imitates another artwork, but changes some of the ideas or details, often to make it funny or to communicate a different message. When you see these examples, try to identify what makes them look like Nighthawks. Look for the restaurant, the people inside, the nighttime setting, and the strong contrast between light and dark. The original painting is so recognizable that even when artists change the characters or the setting, we still identify the inspiration. Let's continue looking at parodies. As you compare these images, think about how an artist can take an existing artwork and change it to create something new. Even though the details might be different, the original idea from Hopper's Nighthawks can still be recognized. This is also a good reminder that artists can communicate ideas through composition, lighting, value, and subject matter. Let's meet another artist, Stuart Davis. Like Hopper, Davis painted views of New York City. But there's a major difference between the two artists. Davis worked in the style of modernism. His artwork uses strong lines, but unlike Hopper, his paintings can look much more abstract. Davis also used bright, contrasting colors. Instead of creating forms mainly through light and dark values, he used flat shapes filled with color or patterns. So while Hopper's artwork tends to look realistic, Davis's artwork can look more like shapes and colors arranged together. Stuart Davis used bright, solid colors, flat shapes, and decorative patterns. His shapes can appear to lock together like puzzle pieces. Davis did paint real objects and places, but his paintings don't necessarily look realistic. He was also inspired by jazz music. Davis liked jazz music he heard in the small city saloons. He wanted his artwork to have the same kind of lively rhythm. So when you look at Davis's artwork, think about bright colors, flat shapes, patterns, strong lines, and an abstract appearance. So let's compare Hopper and Davis. What do they have in common? Both artists painted in New York City. Both used strong lines. Both used asymmetrical balance. But their differences are very important. Hopper used realism or American scene painting, while Davis used modernism. Hopper's artworks look more realistic, while Davis's artwork looks more abstract. So let's practice what we've learned with an important quiz question. So the question asks, which artwork has these characteristics? So look carefully at the characteristics. Think about an artwork that shows a realistic looking city scene that uses strong lines, has asymmetrical balance, and creates contrast through light and dark value. Which artwork matches these characteristics? Pause the video and make your choice. The correct answer is Edward Hopper's Nighthawks. That's right. Nighthawks has these characteristics we associate with Hopper. It shows a realistic looking city scene. It uses strong lines. It has asymmetrical balance, and one of its most noticeable features is a strong contrast between the bright restaurant and the dark nighttime surroundings. The use of light and dark values also helps create the forms in the painting. So remember, realistic, strong lines, asymmetrical balance, value, contrast. That should be Edward Hopper's Nighthawks. So let's review one more time. Edward Hopper and Stuart Davis both painted scenes of New York City, but they used very different styles. Hopper was associated with American scene painting and realism. His artwork is realistic looking and uses strong lines, asymmetrical balance, and contrast through value. His famous painting, Nighthawks, creates a feeling of loneliness and isolation, through its nighttime setting and the bright light of the restaurant. Stuart Davis, on the other hand, worked in modernism. His artwork uses strong lines, bright contrasting color, flat shapes, and patterns. His paintings can look abstract rather than realistic. The biggest thing to remember is that artists can paint the same type of subject, such as a city, but make it look completely different depending on their artistic style. So when you look at an artwork, don't just ask, what am I looking at? Also ask, how did the artist choose to show it? Great job learning about city scenes, Edward Hopper, Stuart Davis, and the differences between realism and modernism. Okay, and don't forget, you've got a quiz due on Thursday. I will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.